This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Welcome, book friends. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me through this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Aaron Kirkwood, Andre the Man in White, Chad Welsh, Sean McGuire, and Laura Lewis. And before we get into things today, we have a new patron to welcome to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. So thank you so much to Ola O.P. Johannesson. We really appreciate your support and your generosity. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 14 and 15 of The Fires of Heaven. And we're very excited because we have a super fun special guest on the podcast with us today. It's Spencer.
Hi guys, happy to be back.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Well, it's funny because when you initially planned these chapters out, because, typically we like to pick chapters that you want to talk about.
And I have to ask you.
I mean, you said 14 and 15, and I was like, I don't remember exactly what happens at the beginning of this book that's going to be, like, that exciting. And then I read through the chapter, and I was like,
I know what it is. I bet I can guess.
I get it. Like, I get it because it's
Okay, Danielle, guess. Why did I choose these chapters?
I think it's the reveal of the Elida is Amerlin situation.
And I think that's true. I think number one, I was looking for something that was kind of exciting. And number two, I always want to be on when the girls are on. That's my whole thing. I'm with the girls all the time. But I'm not dissimilar from Brett in the sense that I love when characters learn things and get to know things and speculate about things.
Yeah, so let's do the chapter title. So chapter 14 is Meetings, and chapter 15 is What Can Be Learned in Dreams.
Right, and turns out it's how to be super assertive.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting, power dynamic shift. We got to talk about it when we get there. So, and I'm going to, duck out of some of this conversation probably, too.
Yeah, it's intense. It gets intense in there.
So yeah, let's do this fun fact, and this one's actually a neat little connection to history, but like most historical things, it's a bit contentious, so I'm just going to go with this one, and then people can correct me if they want to, but I'm pretty sure I got the gist of everything right here. So in chapter 14, when Nynaeve is talking to Egwene and Melaine about Rand, they mention how Rand seems to be kind of getting more full of himself, like being a little bit more, like he is. And then Nynaeve says that kings and queens can be fools when they forget what they are and act like who they are. And it's worse if they only remember what they are and forget who. So it's just like Rand is being too pretentious or whatever it may be. So at that part, she's also saying that it would be good if kings and queens could have someone whose job it is to remind them that they eat and sweat and cry just like anybody else. So, like I said, this is a bit of a contentious fun fact, but this is a general idea. In ancient Rome, they would celebrate, it's called a Roman triumph, which is basically a big public celebration honoring a military commander who had achieved a great victory. So they'd get all done up in togas and face paint, and they'd have the crown, and they'd ride around on the chariot. It'd be a whole big thing. But they would also have a person, typically a slave, who would ride behind the general and hold a crown above his head. And that person would intermittently say to the general, remember, you are immortal, or remember, you are only a man, to make sure that the commander, didn't get caught up in all the, to-do about being celebrated and do something foolish and disgraceful and offend the gods. So,
okay, now is this a contentious fun fact because there's no way it's accurate or true?
Oh, it's for sure probably accurate and true. It's just what people actually said. So yeah, there's paintings. It's in. But works.
Whispering in his ear. Remember?
And
I don't know.
Yeah, riding behind in the chariot.
If I'm the slave riding behind in the chariot, am I really going to tell him? Remember? I'm just going to get killed later if I'm.
No, but that was the job. That was the job. So the commander basically didn't do anything. Get caught up in the moment. Hey, I'm just saying this might be based on a thing. Nynaeve might be hinting that this is actually based on something that actually happened.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, we can get some ancient Roman history buffs to come in.
I'm sure there are some who will talk to us about.
Yeah, give me the fine details, but that's the best I could find.
Because Spencer and I are incredulous.
That's a fact.
That's putting it lightly. Yeah.
Well, that's what fun facts are for. So
that's fair. Okay. Well.
Now we can get into the good stuff.
So, last time we heard from Gareth Bryn.
And his pipe.
Who is on the hunt for the Swan crew and won't stop until he finds her and those eyes.
Uh-huh.
Those eyes.
It also was pointed out to me that the symbol for House Bryn is also the same as the Red Bull logo. So, like, look that up.
Like a bull?
It's the bull, but it's like kind of kicking and
with the rose?
Yeah, it doesn't have a rose on the Red Bull, but it's like literally it's
Gareth
the same
Bryn.
picture.
So you're telling me that Red Bull
Sponsored by Red
Gareth
Bull.
Bryn gives you wings.
Yeah.
There you go.
Love it.
Well-
Okay, we're also not sponsored by Red Bull, so like
Not yet.
no, if they want to like give me some money, that'd be so cool. But anyway, we also found out that Nynaeve and Elaine found a circus, but
Oh, yeah.
then promptly just like continued on their way and nothing became of that.
It's gone now.
It's gone.
You sound disappointed.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be
Well,
so
it's,
fun.
you introduce a big thing, and then it's like, yeah, it's
And
one
to
of
be
those
fair,
things.
Spencer, you haven't heard our last episode that
Oh,
hasn't
yeah.
come out yet,
Yeah,
where I talk a lot about how I'm annoyed that they didn't stop and watch
Fair
the
enough.
circus.
yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. So chapter 14 is called Meetings, and we have the Dream Ring Terangrial.
and I know you don't think that's what it is.
It's not
but
a ring. It's just the sign for Teleranrion.
Yeah, the circle that looks like the ring that was described.
It doesn't look like the ring. It looks like a hypnotizy thing going
Okay.
into the Spencer. Weigh in on this. What do you know?
I'm
the
going to be
symbol?
honest with you. I read it on my audiobook and I don't
Show her.
get the symbol.
Show her.
Okay, I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm looking. Oh, yeah. That for sure does not look like the Terangrial.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for backing me up.
Well,
on
I'm
that.
upset that you're ganging up against me,
I
but I know
love
that
it.
I know that I'm right, so that's okay.
Okay, well, except that you're not. So, we enter in a Nynaeve perspective. So, we open this chapter right where we left off with Nynaeve stepping into Teleranriad. She is appearing in the typical coffee meeting
Yeah,
place.
the worst
typical
place.
Starbucks in the Stone of Tyr. In the heart of the stone, where Rand left Kalendor, we get a bunch of recap and description about the Stone of Tyr and what it looks like and the traps that Rand set on Kalendor and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I have that age-old question that I've asked since we started coming to this place. Is it a good idea to keep coming back to the same location every time you come into
Oh,
Teleranriad?
you mean the place where you feel like people are watching you?
Every time you come in? Yeah, that place.
it is concerning. And I mean, I did, on your last episode, you were talking about how perhaps the watching feeling was Egwene going back because the Wise One told her to look at her friends, and maybe it's not super spooky.
Yes.
But I mean, come on, you
True.
Moghedien is after you. Like, be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Like at least 50% of the watching eyes
Right.
are evil. Like at least 50%.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would up it. I would up it to at least like 67.
80-20. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
67%. Yeah.
Okay.
So we also get some clarification on the rules of Teleranriad, just in case you don't know for sure or you forgot. This is also from Nynaeve's perspective.
So it's like maybe it's
so it's
true.
like maybe this is true, probably not. Like the unreliable
Right.
narrator.
Yeah.
So we also get that what is in the waking world will also be in Teleranriad.
Yeah.
And like we sort of saw that last book with the
Yes.
Waygate
Yes, yeah.
with Perrin.
Yeah.
Which I was skeptical about anyway. I was like, I don't know if I buy
But it
all
turned
this.
out to be,
Well, the problem
Stuff
is
going
it's,
on.
yeah, it
it's
turned out he was right. Yeah.
Turned out he was right.
yeah, but it's the whole like reflection. So like how close is the reflection? Because I just think of like looking at reflections in a pond. It's like, yeah, it's close, but it's not always exact. So
Right. So we also get that like weird stuff happens, but we know this time and time again from everybody that if you die here, you die in
Yes.
real life.
Yeah.
So that's like probably the main thing.
Be careful.
Yeah. So Nynaeve gets her sensation of being watched, and then she tells herself, this is definitely not Moghedien.
yeah.
So like now I'm leaning towards this is probably Moghedien.
Okay.
I mean, like, you know
She
what?
kind of goes through the whole train of thought about, oh, if it was Moghedien, she would totally just attack me right
She
now.
would show herself and attack me, but it's like, oh,
But is
she
that
doesn't
true?
know. She doesn't know the
Right.
spider like I know the spider.
It,
Yeah,
It seems
Yeah.
dumb. It seems like, of course she wouldn't. Like, and again,
but in her opinion, as a Forsaken who's after Nynaeve. She's like, if she can see me right now, she would just jump out
Well,
and attack me.
And I think Nynaeve has a problem, like you've talked about before. She's not super self-aware, and I think she also has a hard time imagining people not acting like her. So if she was hiding in the shadows, she would jump out and attack, because that's what she is. Nynaeve would do, but that's not necessarily... She's not good at putting herself in other people's shoes, let's say.
That's a good point.
Good way to put that.
Yeah. Nynaeve would totally just attack Moghedien, just like...
She'd be like, there she is, attack!
Get her!
Yeah,
God, I'm
get her.
angry!
And then get herself like, yeah. I'd be like, oh no, I'm more scared than angry. Now I can't channel. Like, no, shoot. Okay, so something really interesting and important happens right away.
Yeah, it does. Pretty early on, so it's good.
Nynaeve calls out to Brigida.
Da-da-da.
Yeah. Because
So
this is a thing,
and
apparently.
then she just shows up and she's like, oh, hey, girlfriend. Hey, girl, hey.
Yeah, we get a little bit of clarification that Brigida can literally hear her name anywhere in the world and respond to it if she wants to.
Cool.
So that's like a new kind of thing we learn here.
Yeah.
Just as like a side.
I also just want to point out, backing up, that Nynaeve is wearing a terb on her gown, where before she was like, really, oh, these women are dressed scantily clad. And in the dream world, when she has the choice, that's what she wears, and she's flaunting it.
We get a little bit
even
more of that
later. Yeah, but even right now,
it's coming. It's a coming. All right. So Brigida shows up and is like, "Oh hey, Guidel Kane."
Yeah, the guy with the swords.
Leonardo.
Yeah.
He's not here right now.
He hasn't been here for some time.
Yeah. And Brigida thinks the wheel has spun him out again.
Yeah. So this is big.
Yeah, this is actually very big, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because he's like a freaking hero of the Horn, and if he's being reborn, like, does he get reborn into like some super cool badass person?
He gets reborn into a baby.
Well, now, but a baby who is probably like what, Taviran? Who?
Well, this is the thing. So
like,
we don't necessarily know that every hero of the Horn is a Taviran. We just know that they are like important figures who, so Taviran is like a special status. You can think of it that way. Not all heroes would be Taviran, but Taviran can be heroes, but are not necessarily.
Yeah, I get it, but it just seems like this is important.
Yeah, so like probably
and
in
like
the
20 years.
Okay, but how long?
Yeah, a couple decades.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, like maybe we only need like 10 years. Like maybe Rand can buddy up with a 10-year-old.
In 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Do you think that the book series is going to last 10 years?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, it's possible.
It's
we don't know the time frame.
It's possible. It's been a year and a half,
That's
and
true.
it's 5 books.
But like,
That's true.
Think of how Rand's acting. Does he have 10 years?
Yeah.
But she already has the opinion that that's going to be like a wash because it's going to get fixed or whatever.
Right, okay. So he has an infinite amount of time. He's Aes Sedai.
Infinite amount of time.
Listen, I think that even if Rand does, quote, get cleansed like he wants,
right.
I think, and like I want, and like that's obviously, I think that's a pretty obvious one. That's like the overarching issue that's got to get fixed, and like that's an obvious one to me.
Yeah,
but I think even if he stops himself from going crazy, I still think that he's Rand al'Thor. And so I don't know if how he's acting right now is even like the taint crazy. I think maybe Rand is just Rand.
Cracking under pressure, maybe? Or
hearing voices? And he's hearing voices in his head? Like that's just...
Oh, I think the Lews Therin thing, I don't think that's the taint.
That's just rebornness.
That's just like, that's rebornness. That's there for good.
Okay.
Oh yeah, him and Lews Therin are like, it's a Venom situation, and now they're just gonna... That's how this goes.
It makes sense. We've got Matt already being able to, like, not only, besides the whole voices in his head or memories, he does have that whole old blood situation going on, so.
Right.
Okay.
But this also means that Brigida is going to follow him out, like always, probably.
Yes. Well, that's the point. We don't know what the time frame is, and they go into a whole big spiel about, like, time frames are different in Teleran Riyadh, so it could be a year, it could be 10 years. Like, she's got no way to know, so.
Right.
And I found it really fascinating that when they're talking about the time, it appears that time in Teleran Riyadh can move faster and slower based on their comparison there.
Right.
Well, you know what they say about time.
What do they say, Brett?
Well, it's relative.
It's relative.
It's relative. Like, so, but yeah, but that wasn't supposed to be like a joke. But
my favorite thing lately is we're watching The Mandalorian, and they're like, in 20 minutes, this is gonna blow. And I'm like,
that's not how time and space is gonna work.
Okay, well, like, in what solar system? How long is the day around
20 what
the
minutes?
star in this solar system? Like, I just
Yeah.
wait a minute.
I mean, debatably, you can't even have a universal clock because that's not how time works.
Yeah.
Anyways. But yeah, that's why time's relative. So it could be like a few days for Brigida, and like who knows if it's more or less for other people in Teleron Riyadh. Because we know RJ was a total like physics guy, so he probably has like his own set of rules.
He probably knows exactly how long it is. I mean, he's figured out.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's the
We're not scholars. We're not scholars. Let's be honest.
But before we miss it in tangents here, I do have to mention that we also learned that new heroes can find themselves bound to the horn. Yeah. If they do like brave things or have great accomplishments, but once they're bound, it's forever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. New heroes.
New heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Danielle, do you think anyone we know is going to get bound to the horn?
Yeah, all of them.
Nice. Okay.
Perfect.
Literally every single one of them will have something to do and be bound to this horn.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so now Nynaeve and Brigida get to exchanging some information, and apparently, like, this isn't the first time Brigida and Nynaeve are
This is
just,
a regular thing now.
Like a regular thing. They're buddies. Brigida's really breaking prescripts or whatever they're called. Like, she's like... There
doesn't seem to be any kind of, like, repercussions, though. She's
not
like,
yet,
oh, no,
anyway.
this is bad.
We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know what they could be or who's even in charge of
who's writing these prescripts.
Right. Who? Yeah. It's confusing.
It is. So we learn that Brigida has seen Lanfear in Teleron Riyadh a lot.
Makes sense.
Which makes sense, because that's her, like, domain. And we know that she's there. She was poking around Rand's dreams.
All the time.
And was, like, annoyed that he has his dreams blocked. And she was, like, poking around Egwene's dreams to, like, find out what she can find out about.
Well, and like Lanfear's whole thing is she tells people when she meets them, she's like, World of Dreams is mine.
Yeah.
This is my place.
This is my place. Okay. So Brigida has also seen some of Ravine, Samael, Grandel, and Semarog.
Yeah. And we know that is a thing.
And Demandred, right?
Yeah, so she saw Demandred and...
Oh, Demandred and Semarog are watching Ravine, Samael, Grandel, and Lanfear stalk each other.
Yeah, which is funny because the four people who are, like, stalking each other are the ones who are, like, in the Alliance.
Supposed to be in the Alliance.
And then the other two are, like, watching them do stuff, so...
It sounds like a mess. I feel like the only ones that Brigida hasn't seen is Asmodean, because he's, like, trapped with Rand.
Yeah.
Right.
But I find it interesting that he's not even, like, in the dream world. Watch it. You know what I mean? Like, when he goes to sleep.
Sure.
Oh, or is it because he's, like, so blocked, maybe? Is it a power thing?
That's a thing. Could be.
But it's not a power thing, because lots of the wise ones who,
Oh, that's true. Dreamwalking
But keep in mind, it's a separate ability, so sometimes, like, there's a possibility. We've seen the Terangriel work, like, some you need to be able to channel, some you don't. Like, the ring one just literally needs to touch your skin. You don't. But the two that they picked up from the Black Aja, you have to channel into. So it's like, it could be a power thing.
Right.
Where he
and then
needs
it's
to.
Like the whole complicated wolf dream situation
exactly.
with Perrin. Like, Perrin's not channeling. So,
yeah.
And we know that some of the dream walkers aren't channelers. So.
Or another thing, Asmodean just isn't going in because he knows he's going to get killed by any one of these people. So
yeah,
could be true.
Could be that.
Right. And then the other one is Moghedien. So it's interesting that that's the only one who hasn't been spotted.
So is she hiding or is she being a spider?
I like her. I think she might be my favorite.
Favorite Forsaken?
No, other than Lanfear.
Okay.
Don't let me, like, Lanfear's Lanfear.
Okay, so you still like Lanfear, but, like, Moghedien's coming up there.
Moghedien's cool.
Okay.
I like her. She gives me Kill Bill vibes.
Okay.
Are you hearing the sirens in your head?
Oh, yeah. No, because the reason she's called Moghedien.
Yeah. Oh, we get that fun little information
We get
here.
that right away here because it means, like, sneaky little spider or something.
Yeah, in Age of Legends, it was a tiny spider and spun its webs in secret places, but was poison enough to kill in heartbeats.
Yeah, and so that's totally like all of the assassins who are named after poisonous snakes.
Right.
In Kill Bill. That's what...
Cool.
Yeah, so like Uma Thurman vibes.
Wait, so is Moghedien Uma Thurman?
Yeah, Black Mamba.
Okay.
I think. That was one of the snakes anyway.
Yeah.
We're not here to test.
I love Kill Bill.
Yeah, we're not here to test your random movie trivia.
Can you whistle the theme song?
No. Can you? Oh.
Oh my god, that still gives me chills.
Yeah.
I can't with that. I can't.
Yeah. That's pretty good off the top of your head like that.
Oh yeah, I know it. It's good.
Wow, Brett.
Oh, that movie is scary.
It's pretty great. That's like a cinematic masterpiece right there.
It's good.
It is.
It's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brigida hasn't seen her, but it's not for lack of trying, which means that Moghedien either hasn't been in Tel'aran'rhiod, or she knows she's being looked for and is covering her tracks, which is probably the one it actually is.
And that makes it like
Right.
super more dangerous. Like that's even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that she's also scared of Nynaeve.
That's probably true
I
too.
think that's true.
Yeah. So I mean, the whole funny little tidbit that comes up next is Nynaeve trying to tell Brigida to like be careful. Like it's kind of funny that that's happening in itself.
Yeah.
But one of my big questions is like Brigida seems to have rules that apply to heroes of the Horn that don't apply to other people who are just like in Tel'aran'rhiod, whether or not they're Forsaken. Like we've seen her and Geidel Cain literally be invisible to like Hopper, right? A wolf
I was also
who like
gonna
lives
say,
there.
I bet they have the same kind of rules as Hopper.
Possibly.
Because
okay.
they're just sort of like spirits
Spirits that live there. Okay.
that live there.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting too that Nynaeve has a comment that she thinks Brigitte is more vulnerable in Tel'aran'rhiod because she can't channel. But like, I mean,
No,
we don't know that to be true.
Well, we know
Lots
that
of
she
the wise ones
carries
can't
around.
channel.
Yeah, she also carries around her silver bow with her.
Well, there's
And
like a
Perrin
whole bunch
is
of
becoming
stuff we
powerful. Yeah,
so that's
like,
and we've got the dreamer wise ones. Like we know that Bear can't channel, but she's a dreamer.
and I just think here Nynaeve is really showing how little she knows about Tel'aran'rhiod.
Oh,
if that's her concern. Oh,
100%.
Brigitte can't channel. She's not safe. That's just not true here.
Yeah, and like Nynaeve, you also can't channel right now, so like
Yeah.
how safe are you? So,
But I mean that comes
Right.
back to the whole like
self-awareness.
well, I was gonna say like the classist system of like the Aes Sedai and anyone who can channel
Right.
thinks they're better than everybody else, no matter what. And it's like a
Right.
hero for the Horn has different rules probably that apply to them that don't apply to just regular people who aren't spirits and bound to the Horn of Valyr.
right.
Like what could Moghedien like Brigida can just like go invisible and be gone.
Yeah.
Like different rules apply.
And
here.
Nynaeve's like, I can do that too. And
Yeah.
then it's just like, can you though? Because you get put in a pretty dicey situation in a couple minutes.
Yeah, and like all the time. It's terrible.
And anyway, okay.
So it's pretty funny.
Yeah. So at this point, Brigida tells Nynaeve that she'll do her best to track down Moghedien, but now it's time for her to go. She doesn't want to risk being spotted because Egwene and crew are coming right away. And Nynaeve asks for like what doesn't seem like the first time
Yeah.
that she wants to tell everybody about Brigida and the information about the Forsaken.
Yeah, and I get why
she's like,
asking.
can't I just tell
Yeah.
everybody that like my new best friend is
BFF
Brigida's
in Dreamworld.
silver bow in the dream world? And it's like, no, Nynaeve, can't do that.
I just want to back up for one quick second.
Ooh, okay.
Because at one point, Brigida and Nynaeve are talking about Moghedien, and again, it's a typical case of Nynaeve not knowing herself because she's obviously scared of Moghedien. She has this fear because they're talking about it, and she suddenly is wearing armor. Again, just talking about,
yeah.
yeah. Nynaeve, number one, is scared of Moghedien, obviously. Her subconscious is telling us that. And number two, she doesn't have as much control as she thinks she does. Like, that is kind of the theme, I feel like, of these chapters, is Nynaeve not really understanding her own feelings and her control.
She lies to herself, and that comes back to full circle. So
yeah,
and I think Nynaeve should have a healthy fear of Moghedien too. Like that's a good thing to have. She's still a Forsaken. Yeah, you might be, brute strength stronger than
and
her
that
right
just
now.
like happened to be the scenario because you caught Moghedien off guard.
Yeah, because
like,
she thought she had you like compelled, basically. Still,
yeah,
so.
Right. She doesn't know your strength of will, Nynaeve. Turns out.
Stubborn. Two
rivers. More than not. But yeah, I think something interesting that we do also need to address is that a part of me believes that Moghedien is not at full strength somewhere.
What do you mean?
Well, she disappeared.
Oh, like she didn't come out of that
in the middle
encounter.
of the Balefire hose situation. It's like
Are we saying like she's missing an arm or something?
No, because she was shielded, right?
Yeah.
And then disappeared.
Yeah. Okay.
So like the shield was like tied up and she shouldn't have been able to move, but then she somehow did. And so the fact that she's like missing in action here, like maybe like I don't think she's dead by any means.
Okay, just she might not be at like full strength.
I think that's something that maybe we would have seen or had confirmed, or like maybe it'll be confirmed later for us. But I think that she got away somehow, but maybe she's not at her like full strength.
I like that.
And I'm picturing like Voldemort in the woods of Albania.
Oh, gotta go and recover.
Oh no, here we go.
Is that a recovering situation?
Yeah, but it's a Harry Potter reference.
No,
so...
I got that too.
Okay.
I know that. I know that.
But it's like a recovering situation. Like you got blasted.
Okay.
But you didn't die, but you need to go like recover somewhere until you can get enough followers to get your power back.
Okay, so she's gonna come back at like next book at the end of the school year when she's like, recovered.
Right.
And Lord of Chaos, chapter 50 something.
That's where Mogadians show up.
Okay.
How did you know? You shouldn't be telling me all these things that are gonna happen, Brett.
Spoiler alert. Go get the shots.
Okay.
I just got Bailey's around here.
Oh,
you have a shot of Bailey's? That's gonna be so
What's wrong
thick.
With that?
It's just like the
gross.
thickest drink. Like
it's like literally like 3%.
Like I can
alcohol.
feel that.
It's gonna get caught in your throat.
I love shooting Bailey's.
You're a weirdo.
And it's all okay. It was this or straight vodka, and I'm sorry, I wasn't doing the straight vodka.
All right.
Okay, fair. And we just got a present from my parents. They sent us a care package.
Yes.
And in it
is alcohol.
Yeah, because you know why? Because my dad saw our video podcast.
Okay.
One of the episodes we did on video where I ran out of bubblegum vodka. And my dad was like, "Oh no, they need a new fun vodka to shoot."
Oh.
And so he sent us this Berry Blast Smirnoff, which looks like one of those.
It's a fun vodka.
Rocket popsicles, and this is the first one we're gonna have. So shout out to my dad and mom for sending that to us.
Cheers.
And to Spencer shooting her Baileys for Voldemort hiding in Albania.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Tastes exactly like
delicious.
the popsicle.
Oh no.
You should have done Bailey's.
No. Okay, that was more because I've had that one before as like the cooler.
Oh my, okay.
And it's like very sweet.
Yeah, that'd be like pure sugar.
Yeah. So that's like good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I'm ready.
We could finish that bottle.
Maybe we might be able to do that. All right, where were we? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's time for Brigida to leave.
Oh, it's time for Brigida to leave. We haven't even got to Egwene in. Oh, this is gonna go on forever. This might be a two-parter. Oh my god. Okay. So Nynaeve was like, "Hey, Brigida, can I tell everybody we're BFFs now?" And this is where Brigida's like, "That's gonna be a hard no."
Yeah, hard no pass.
Because she's already breaking a bunch of the prescripts that she's supposed to be bound to. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we get a whole bunch of description of Nynaeve killing time in Tel'aran'rhiod by changing her dresses and thinking about Lan.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of important. She's like having some dream thoughts.
Yeah. All right.
She even like brings up the full length mirror or whatever to be like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. Look at me. And her neckline keeps plunging. Ooh.
Yeah,
and then deeper.
My favorite part when she like scolds herself for being a hussy.
Mm. And then
Lan's blood would catch fire.
Oh, if he saw me in this.
Oh, it's great.
Oh my. But then she is like, you know what? Lan doesn't love me for the tight dresses that I wear.
Except that then she has like a barely opaque dress on.
I know,
so, I know.
But she's like, oh, he fell in love. He first saw me wearing, my Two Rivers woolen dress, and he first told me he loved me when I was in some woolen dress. So he obviously doesn't need to see me in this, but like maybe I want him to.
Yeah.
That leads me to believe that they haven't done the deed yet.
Okay, that's fair.
And like Nynaeve is a good Two Rivers woman.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I agree with that.
Let me tell you, she is not hooking up before marriage.
Yes,
No
I
way.
agree.
Okay.
That's a good prediction.
Okay. So Nynaeve is thinking about herself in this scandalous dress.
See-through.
See-through.
Basically.
And this is when Egwene and Melaine show up.
Of course.
And Egwene is all, oh my god, Nynaeve, what the fuck are you wearing?
Yeah, it's such a good time.
And then cue
It's
Nynaeve
good.
being like super embarrassed. And turns out, last time they were together, Melaine was complimenting Lan. So Nynaeve is being a little jelly monster right now.
Huge. This is so funny. Especially because we know about Melaine now.
Right.
Well, because Melaine's got the eyes for Bale.
Not just the eyes. She's going to like marry him.
Yeah, the eyes for her, and she's going to marry Dorinda. So it's like, it's funny because Nynaeve thinks that Melaine's going after Lan, but like Melaine doesn't have any type of feelings that way.
Well, she's
going to
marry Bale.
Yeah.
And become sister wife to Dorinda.
It's a 3-way marriage situation.
Right, and it's
because she does need permission from Dorinda.
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Well, and it's just like it's another example of cultures clashing because it's not that different than when Avienda was telling Rand about like Elaine's butt. It's not. It's kind of like.
Have you seen her in the bath?
Right.
Let me arrange for you to see her in the bath. Yeah, you would love her in the bath.
Her backside, round, plump, nice.
Oh, let me tell you. Yeah. Have I told you before that I've shipped Elaine and Avienda?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. There's time.
Lots of time.
Back to this situation. You know, at some point we do have to make our way through these 2 chapters.
So Nynaeve asks if Lan is okay, and then scolds herself for asking if Lan is okay. And then she hates the expressions on Egwene's and Melaine's face.
Yeah.
And he's like worrying about her, turns out.
Well, this is funny because they respond and say that, oh, Lan's worried about you. And then Nynaeve's like, he's worried about me. Does he think that I can't protect myself? And it's like, yes.
Yes.
Obviously.
That's what he thinks because you have a track record of not taking care of yourself.
Right.
That's
why he went and got Julian to follow you across the world to help protect you.
Yeah,
and
that's why.
As annoying as that is, it's completely necessary at this point.
Well, and don't be worried about Lan. He's a warder. He's deadly, and he's got Moraine, who's a very skilled Aes Sedai. Like again, it's the self-awareness. Like Lan is going to be okay.
Yeah, I think that she's more worried about one of these Aiel women picking him up than him getting hurt. So
that's true too. Yeah,
that's what she's worried about.
Because she says that whole thing like, oh, he won't do anything, but he's only a man.
Yeah. Okay. So Nynaeve finally gets a hold of herself, and she tells Egwene and Melaine the news update. But she definitely keeps some stuff out.
Yeah.
She says that they've reached Sienda in Amadicia. There are white cloaks everywhere. She completely leaves out the fact that they saw a circus.
Yeah,
which
she does.
I'm surprised about.
Not important.
Not important, turns out. She also tells them about Rhonda McGuire and the weirdo message from the tower.
Right.
And about McGuire trying to drug them.
Yes.
But good thing that Nynaeve is such a wonderful and amazing wisdom that she knew fork root by the taste of it.
Yeah, and good thing I know every herb ever.
Ever. She's a liar.
So that was a lie.
Hands on fire.
Yeah.
Right?
It's really funny that she even does that too.
I read that and I was like, what the heck?
Well, this is the thing. It's someone who's not good at lying, trying to lie for like basically one of the first times.
Right.
Like it's not like a twisting of the truth that she normally does. Usually she twists the truth. She like omits stuff, but here she's straight up like bold-faced lies.
Yeah.
So she can get away with the Aes Sedai type of speech because we've seen that through the first books. We haven't seen her like overtly just be like,
I'm a liar.
I'm a liar.
Yeah.
Here's a lie.
Yeah, okay. But she does give Egwene a cryptic message about having some plot concerning Andor.
Yeah.
But that Elaine, her, and Egwene share commonalities that might be involved.
Yeah, the fact that they're all accepted.
Yes.
Again, because they're lying about being Aes Sedai.
Oh, right. Lying.
Liars.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I have to correct myself because we have seen them overtly lie.
Yeah,
when they're like,
I was going to say.
I'm Nynaeve of the green, but you get what I'm saying, where it's like usually she does the twisty twist.
And the biggest thing is that it's Nynaeve lying to Egwene.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if Nynaeve is lying to somebody else about this, who they don't know, like, I'm all for lying out in the world when you're on some crazy Black Aja mission. Like, don't just, like, give your name to some random lady who just beat up a bunch of guys
Brand
in the
Althor
street.
from Emmons Field. Yeah, like, don't say that.
Well, I was talking about Aegeanan, but
well, they all do that, though.
They all do that always. But Now it's Egwene's turn to share their news because Couladin is crossing the spine of the world and Rand is following in hot pursuit and they're racing for the Gengai Pass. And this is basically going to be a new Aiel war in Cairhien and it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And now Nynaeve just wants Rand to stay sane long enough to fight in the last battle.
Yeah,
Right.
Which is like something that seems to be popping up in a lot of our, Emmon Field 5 type heads.
Yeah.
Like everyone is starting to think about, oh man, I hope Rand makes it.
Yeah.
It's like, poor guy.
Yeah.
And I think Nynaeve, because she was the wisdom and a little bit older, she has a real vested interest in Rand's sanity. Like, she really wants to take care of the guy.
Well, her whole mission of leaving Emmons Field was to protect these people.
And now it's less about that, though.
Yeah.
She's like, just like, stay sane until the last battle. Then
hey, man, I hope you save mankind.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you, though, this is a part I wanted to talk about. Just really a quick tangent, because when I was doing my notes, I started thinking about how they got to Ruidians. Because, like, they're going so slow, like, as fast as they can, but the waste is huge.
Yes.
So they got to Ruidian via Portal Stone very quickly and conveniently. Why can't they just do it again?
Right.
Doesn't that serve the plot to beat Couladin there?
Robert
Jordan?
So that's assuming that he's always going to use the same method of transportation to get to where they want to be.
If it's there and it's convenient, see, this is a situation where it's annoying that they're not using the convenient method of travel that he's sort of figured out.
Okay, but you say convenient, but the Portal Stone thing was super risky that happened, and now there's a lot more Aiel now than there was leaving Tyr, like literally thousands and thousands more.
I feel like the Aiel could march there and Rand and a small group could go ahead of time to at least like suss out the situation.
Okay.
Or something. Like, I feel
still risky. And Rand's whole thing was like risky. Time. Now it's less about, well, it's still important.
No, this is 100% about time.
Okay.
This is bad news if Couladin gets there first.
Well, maybe that Portal Stone is used up.
And
used up all the juice.
And now Rand has the advantage of literally having a teacher who lived through the Age of Legends.
Yeah, in his head, you mean? Oh no, Asmodean.
Right.
I was like, Lews Therin. Right. No, Lews Therin is not being a teacher. Lews Therin
he hasn't gotten anything useful.
Like, Lews Therin is being a dick in his head yelling at Lanfear.
Yeah.
It's been useful to like figure out women a little bit about what they were like the whole Ilyana thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she never used to yell at me like that.
Yeah, that's all Lews Therin's done in his head. So, okay, Asmodean, yeah.
But we don't know that Asmodean knew anything useful about Portal Stone.
But we haven't asked him, have we? We haven't asked him. We don't know.
We don't know.
It was just a side thing I thought about because I was like, oh, what's a convenient method of travel that we're not using at this moment for no reason because it doesn't serve the plot? Oh, it's the Portal Stones.
Well, what about like gateways or what about the ways?
Exactly.
Use one of those.
What about that?
I don't know.
Let's use them.
Okay. Let's get on this like fast travel situation.
Yeah.
He's working on it, okay?
Okay. I don't think he's working on it. He could totally gateway there, though. If he wanted to get there faster.
It doesn't seem like he really gets the whole gateway thing. Like, he's got the whole skimming thing. He's starting to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, to make the platform, but then,
traveling would be way better and faster.
Yeah, like, just portal gateway style.
Portal gateway style.
So, it's funny, but...
He's working on it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Anyway.
Future books. We'll get there.
Anyway. Egwene tells Nynaeve, back to the Stone of Tyr and the meeting.
Yeah.
Egwene and Nynaeve tell about... Nope, I gotta say that all again.
Yep.
So back to this, in the Stone of Tyr, Egwene tells Nynaeve about Moiraine obeying Rand, and Nynaeve is so shocked to learn about this that Egwene and Moiraine both don't like it because they're like, men have no business ordering Aes Sedai around, or the wise ones.
Throw that in there for good measure.
Throw that in there.
Yeah.
Not even the Karakarn.
Yeah. And I mean, Nynaeve kind of thinks that Moiraine deserves it because she's done all the terrible things to everybody else. But, you know, I kind of get, I get why Moiraine did it. We've discussed it.
Oh, yeah, and especially by the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she totally read that book.
Yeah, she did. She did. Took your advice, read the book, how to make friends and stuff.
But again,
people.
Yeah, and she did it.
We go back to here again, like Nynaeve saying she agrees that, maybe it's improper, but she's not sure why she even cares about this, because she doesn't want to be an Aes Sedai. She doesn't care about the respect Aes Sedai has. Her whole mission is just she wants to learn how to heal, and it's not about becoming an Aes Sedai, and it's not about any of this. It's not about saving the world. It's just about learning how to heal. Well, she doesn't care about Aes Sedai.
Is this more of like her lying to herself, though?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, all of her internal monologue is just back and forth, lying to herself, lying to everybody else. Like, it's just a mess. So Egwene does note that now at least Rand does talk to Moiraine, because before he would just like flip out anytime she even came close to him. And Nynaeve tells Egwene that she needs to do what she can to remind Rand who he is.
He needs a slave from the Roman times.
Yes, saying you are just a man, you are only mortal.
Helping him hold on to himself may be the best thing anyone can do. And I think that's good advice.
It is. It's like, hold on to your core values, remember who you are. Yes, you're the Dragon Reborn, but remember
think that he is trying.
He is.
We do see him, I think, sometimes trying. When he has moments alone, like when we're in his head.
Yeah.
I think there's...
But I also understand his frustration where you have people pulling you in different directions. Like you have Moiraine trying to do stuff for the White Tower. You got the Aiel doing stuff for the Aiel. He's just like, how do I save the world?
Right.
You know, it's in the Terran High Lords. They're the worst. So
and how do I beat all the Forsaken? And yeah.
Whole bunch of people. The Lanfears being the super jealous ex-girlfriend. Oh my God.
Okay. It's hard.
All right. So Nynaeve decides that she also needs to tell Egwene about the Forsaken, but like only a little bit. So she tells them that the Forsaken are planning something and makes it seem like she herself has seen Lanfear and the others doing their scheming.
Yep.
Lies.
And this kind of super backfires.
Yeah.
Because now Melaine is like, hey, idiot, don't be jumping around Tel'aran'rhiod by yourself, doing all this stuff, wandering around, chasing Forsaken. You don't know what you're doing. And Nynaeve was like, I know what I'm doing just fine, thank you very much.
I don't need your advice. I don't need anybody's advice.
I learned to channel on my own. I can do anything.
It's like barely. Barely you learned to channel.
You know, they both sort of have good points. Like Nynaeve does have a point of she needs to go and experiment in Tel'aran'rhiod to learn it. But Melaine also has a good point of like, it's super dangerous and you're probably going to get killed. So
Right. So then we get a little bit of a recap about how the Aiel handle their women who can channel. Because Melaine recognizes that Nynaeve was a wilder, but they don't like have anything like that in the Waste.
Yeah, nothing.
They track down every single last girl who has a spark or even an ability to learn.
Yeah.
Nobody dies from not being able to learn how to channel in the Waste.
That's why I love the Aiel. They have like a community-based approach to raising the people.
Well, I'm surprised that the Aes Sedai don't have any sort of recruiting system. At the very beginning, 2 years ago, when I first speculated about the different Ajas, I speculated that there was a woman finding Aja.
The recruiters.
Recruiters. Like, I was like, oh, there's men finding Aja. Why aren't there women finding Aja?
Yeah.
It only made sense to me. And turns out I have a better recruiting system than the...
I'll tell you, it makes sense to a lot of people. So,
okay.
But maybe there's an explanation for that we'll get to in the future.
I bet there is. Okay, so Melaine tells Nynaeve that she literally knows nothing, but if she wants to learn, she can come to the Aiel and learn. Like, does this woman, Melaine, she doesn't know about the Dream Terangrial? Does she think that Nynaeve has a natural ability like Egwene did?
It's quite possible, yeah. We don't necessarily know that they know about the Terangrial.
Because Nynaeve can't get there on her own like Egwene can.
Right.
Yeah. Not that we know of, yeah. You're right.
So this offer to teach her is a little bit interesting in my opinion.
Yes and no. If you have any way to get to Tel'aran'rhiod at all, you could use some training. You should learn the ins and outs. So it's like how you get there is not as relevant as you being there.
Totally fair.
That makes sense.
So Melaine also has this little side note about how Egwene has shaped up to be a good student, and they can do the same for Nynaeve. And Nynaeve's like, fuck that.
Yeah, no way.
So Nynaeve tells Melaine that she doesn't want to be tamed by the Wise Ones. And Melaine hits back with Aline.
That's Lan.
How do I say it?
Aline. Yeah.
Okay. Will die the day he learns that you are dead. Period.
Yeah. Okay.
Yikes.
All right. So then we get some back and forth, and it ends with Melaine trying to get Nynaeve to promise that she won't do anything in Tel'aran'rhiod without asking a wise one first. And obviously, that's a no from Nynaeve.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that she does that.
Yeah, because she has the ability to lie because she's not Aes Sedai, but she still is like, nope.
She won't even say.
Like, no, I'm not going to
just,
agree to that.
Stares at them. No.
Like, I'm not your student. I'm not one of you. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to go at my own risk, and I'm going to be just fine. Thank you very much.
She's made it this far.
Well,
barely.
Yeah, barely. That's a really good way to put it. This convo is done, though, and Melaine tells Nynaeve to remember that she is a child in Tel'aran'rhiod, and then her and Egwene disappear. And
not before doing something kind of dickish in my books.
I like it.
I like it too.
I know that you guys like it.
Nynaeve needs to get knocked down about 18 pegs.
That's true.
And this is just one of those things. It's like, you have no control and you need to realize it.
I get it. I'm just saying that it's still, just because you're right doesn't make you not an asshole. Just because Melaine is doing something that is probably, she's still a dick about it.
She's trying to, Nynaeve has been a dick to her this entire conversation.
And it's not like Melaine's innocent in this situation either, nor is Egwene. Like, they're both, everybody's being kind of assholeish to each other.
I mean, the comment about Lan was a bit uncalled for.
It's all of it. Everybody's acting a little bit.
She's trying to get her to realize that this is a dangerous situation.
And I understand the point that you're making. You just
have to take all sorts of different routes. She tried the reasonable route. She tried the negotiating, come be taught.
But
don't go
here's
in
the
without
thing,
our
though.
permission.
Here's the thing, though.
Work.
Melaine doesn't have the right to make that decision for Nynaeve.
No, but she can try to help her.
She can, but that's where that ends. If she doesn't accept the help, that's where it stops. That's where it should stop. Melaine's not responsible for Nynaeve in any way, shape, or form.
She's just trying to be helpful. She's overstepping slightly, but I think that it's nice that she's trying to be helpful, and I think it's completely warranted.
I'm just trying to help you.
I know. I do. I understand your point, though.
Okay.
I do get it.
Yes.
But hey, Nynaeve totally should take some fucking advice.
Yes.
Like, I'm on that side too, yeah.
Okay, so she realizes her clothes have changed. That's what we're talking about. Because Melaine has changed Nynaeve's appearance, so she's wearing the clothes of the little girl with the little rag doll under her arm. And we end the chapter with Nynaeve being furious about everything, the clothes, Melaine probably hitting on Lan, the disrespect, and at the end she thinks maybe there's a way for her to figure out what's going on in the tower, so I'm just gonna go jump around Tel'aran'rhiod on my own anyway.
Flopping around. Yep, that's it.
That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
All right. And without hesitation...
She does that.
She does that right into the next chapter, so we won't hesitate either. Chapter 15, What Can Be Learned in Dreams. Lots of things, turns out. Lots of things can be learned.
Yeah, how much is useful? Some.
A
lot? What do you mean?
There's only like a few really important pieces. Okay, let's talk about it then. Let's go over it.
Okay. So we get the chapter symbol Flame of Tarvalin. We're in the White Tower. Makes sense. So Nynaeve's perspective continued from last chapter. Nynaeve is on a mission to figure out what's going on at the White Tower. She forms an image of her mind of the Amyrlin study, and that should teleport her there, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So she's like, weird. I'm just going to think of the Mistress of Novices study.
She's more familiar with that.
Which is funny.
Which is like a super funny side note, because she even says accepted don't really go there very often, but she like knows it well.
So that's where you go to get beaten and then look at yourself in the mirror while you're crying. Wow, the Mistress of Novices.
Let's talk about this like freaking
lectures you.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
While you're crying after being beaten.
The mirror sounds like not a nice touch.
Well, the Aes Sedai are all for like physical punishment.
I know, it's wild.
So
watch your face while you get switched from behind.
So this is where she just ends up. We end up talking about all this
right, because this is the place that's like familiar and hasn't changed apparently.
Right.
So.
Yeah, which I was interested in because there's a new Mistress of Novices.
Right.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like the room itself has changed very much. Okay. Which, I mean, yeah, it's fair.
Yeah. So Nynaeve changes herself to dress as one of the accepted, because she's like, oh, if somebody accidentally pops in here in their dreams, I'll just look like I'm supposed to be here and I'm in a dream too.
Yeah.
except then she changes her face.
This whole sequence is so crazy. It's pretty crazy.
There's a lot of crazy stuff. So she disguises herself as Melaine.
Not intentionally.
Get creative. Like, come on.
The face thing wasn't intentional, I don't think.
Yeah, but then she could probably change it because she knew how to make herself be that innkeeper.
Yeah, she could have chosen anybody, but like, is it more of an unconscious thing where she's thinking about how Melaine is hitting on her man, and that's just like the thing that kind of pops up too?
Yeah,
or is she like consciously choosing?
We do
Melane's
get that
face?
Nynaeve doesn't have a lot of control over stuff like this, so.
But she's choosing not to look like herself, so she's somewhat conscious of what she's doing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so she's disguised. So if anyone sees her, her plan is to just like jump away really fast back to the novice room or back to her bed. She'll just step out really fast. Okay, good fucking plan. Not. So there could be Black Aja hunting, so she has to be careful.
Right, duh.
And then she thinks about the stolen Terangrials and about how they allow access to Tel'aran'rhiod. Then that's when she disguises herself because she's like, oh, this way they won't see me. And it's like, oh, right. All of the Black Aja have these dream Terangrials that help them enter the dream world. Anyway.
Yeah, and I was just reading there, and it seems like Nynaeve chose Melane's face because she's also thinking that's who she wants to be punished. Like, she wants Melaine to be punished by the Mistress of Novices. So she does it on purpose, but it's kind of like a behind the scenes in her own brain of I want her to be punished, so that's who I'm going to choose. It's all very Nynaeve.
Right. Very immature. That's very immature.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nynaeve heads down through the novice quarters, and she does see the occasional like flicker of girls appearing in Tel'aran'rhiod and then vanishing, and then it's a short climb to the Amerlin study, and then suddenly we see Elaida in front of her.
Oh my god!
So funny.
What the fuck is happening? What's happening? So she has the Amerlin stole on her shoulders, except it doesn't have a blue stripe.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is extra interesting, especially considering Elaida wants the tower to be whole.
Or does she?
So can I kind of like reference this though? Because so one thing about being in the tower here, we get a ton of people, it seems, are popping into and out of Tel'aran'rhiod. And it's very similar to how Min, when she has her visions and viewings of people, she sees way more symbols above Aes Sedai's heads because they can channel, so it kind of opens you up more to that. So it does seem like being an Aes Sedai makes you more susceptible to popping into Tel'aran'rhiod. So Elaida definitely doesn't seem to be here of her own choosing because she disappears right away.
Oh, 100%.
So the whole, missing a blue stripe doesn't necessarily, it's just like that's her subconscious.
That's her reality.
Yeah, because that's her dream.
Yeah,
like she's literally dreaming right
Which
now.
makes sense because we know Elaida hates the blues. Like, we know that. But she's also asking for everybody to come back to the tower.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Spencer, does she want the tower to be whole? Yes. I think that image right now to the rest of the world is very important.
Right.
She wants to be a very successful Amerlin seat. Yeah. That's her goal. And if the tower is broken and divided, well, because of her, that doesn't really equate to a successful, powerful Amerlin seat.
Yeah, because we are definitely working on the assumption that Elaida is not a Black Aja. Like, she's not a bad guy.
No.
She's just doing things we don't agree with.
Bad guy.
Just because you are a bad guy doesn't mean you are a bad guy.
Right, you can
but
believe.
In her case,
it's tough.
Yeah, so Elaida is like, I am the Amerlin seat, girl. Do you not know how to show respect? I will have you. And then she's gone. So
what a crazy Elaida dream.
Well, she's clearly just having her own dreams, like in her own subconscious, of people not respecting her
That's
position.
exactly what we saw happen to her, was nobody respects her, really.
That's her whole reality right now.
Yeah. So then Nynaeve thinks, Elaida wishes she was Amerlin's seat.
Yeah.
And then just continues and thinks nothing of it.
No time for that now.
Yep. And Nynaeve heads through the area where the Keeper of the Chronicles is set up, and thinks that, well, this is weird. Lyanna is always very tidy, and there's all these parchments everywhere. And then she enters the Amerlin study and is like, what the fuck? This place is totally different.
Yeah.
Swan's taste must have changed.
And it begs the question, how often is Nynaeve coming here if she knows Lyanna keeps a tidy desk?
Well, she doesn't know. She says Lyanna seems like the kind of person who would be more tidy than this.
It seems like more than that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's questionable. So, like, at least maybe 2 times.
Because I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that at all.
Well, we do know that they got called into, like, Swan. Like, they did have some communication because the whole Black Aja Hunter
Because
thing.
how long ago did that happen that all of the decorations in the Amyrlin study would have changed? And this is the first time Nynaeve is seeing everything different.
Yeah, and so I guess it's maybe in person that she saw Lyanna's desk tidy.
That's what I was
thinking.
thinking.
Not in the world of dreams. Fair enough.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking anyway. So as Nynaeve is like looking around, the door opens and a red-haired accepted she has never seen before comes in.
Yeah, this is bad, by the way.
And she doesn't wink out of existence. And then Nynaeve just like stands there and stares at her.
Yeah, this is bad. This is so
bad.
She
doesn't do the thing that she said she would do or whatever.
Right.
She thought she would do, which is like get out of there as fast as possible. She just stands there and stares at her.
Yeah, and it's like if this person was a bad guy, you're already toast.
You're already bad.
Like,
you're already like
shielded.
You're already captured. It's already bad. But then the accepted says, Nynaeve, if Melaine knew you were using her face, she'd do more than put you in a child's dress. Yeah. And then she turns into Egwene.
Oh, man, okay.
And then we get a 2-page, very heated argument between Egwene and Nynaeve, where Egwene pretty much berates and attempts to take Nynaeve down a couple of pegs, because Nynaeve doesn't know what she's doing in Tel'aran'rhiod. And Nynaeve tries to argue back, but Egwene does not let her get a word in.
Yeah, so we got a lot to unpack here. And I was hoping we can start at the beginning of it with Egwene coming in here. So Egwene...
Well, she found Nynaeve.
But the whole thing, as soon as she walks into this chamber, like, it seems like she came here for the same reason that Nynaeve came here, to find out what's going on.
Well, because that cryptic message that she gave, this was the plan, right? Like, they needed to talk after Melaine left. That was the whole idea.
Okay. Interesting, because my take on it was she's annoyed that Nynaeve is being so hard-headed about being safe in Tel'aran'rhiod, and I think that after she was away from the Wise Ones,
sure,
she went and did that thing where she looks for Nynaeve's dreams, and found where Nynaeve is.
Does that change at all after we kind of see?
No,
that doesn't change. Okay,
that's because then they're like, this is weird and different. Let's find out what's going on. I think that her original plan was to go and berate Nynaeve and do the thing where she scares her.
Yeah.
So let me tell you though, my crazy speculating brain,
sure,
as I'm reading, I'm constantly thinking, what are the motives? What's going on? What's everyone thinking? Like, and I honestly thought for a really long time that this wasn't Egwene.
Interesting.
Who? Okay.
I thought this was like Melaine. Well, because this is exactly what Amys did to Egwene.
Right. It's like dream within a dream.
It's a dream within a dream. It's like a teaching, whatever. And Nynaeve is like gonna get herself killed and then somehow hurt like other people in the dream world. And they think for like the safety of Nynaeve and the dream world. Like this was just all in my brain speculating.
Yeah.
Right, you know? And so I thought this was at one of the Wise Ones showing up as Egwene, because this whole scene is not Egwene to me.
Gotcha. Okay. It's very not
I was
Egwene
like, who is this talking to Nynaeve like this so confidently? Because Egwene doesn't speak to Nynaeve this confidently like this.
Okay,
yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah. But that changes. Where it's
clearly,
like, yeah, it is Egwene.
Clearly this has changed. And Nynaeve, Egwene has clearly leveled up and learned a lot of things. And she's clearly doing better.
Okay.
Or,
So
well,
I
like,
just my whole issue with this 2-page conversation though
it just
is
doesn't
that
sound like Egwene at all.
it wasn't very long ago that Egwene was the one who, like, she's being super hypocritical because she was the one flying around Tanchico like looking for stuff and she got called out. But then it's like that whole power dynamic shift, like it's shifting between Egwene and Nynaeve right now, where it used to be Wisdom and Apprentice, and now it's like Egwene's overtake. So it's a very weird situation.
And that's from like Nynaeve's perspective.
Well, from Egwene too.
And also, the part of it that annoys me the most about all of this is here is Egwene berating Nynaeve for not understanding the dream world. But at the end of the day, Egwene is not allowed to be here. She's breaking the rules. She's not being careful. She's been told not to do this, and she's been told not to do this, but she's telling Nynaeve not to do something else. It's just like, come on. Like,
yeah.
And that comes full circle at the end.
Well, this just goes back to the whole theory of the big head. Oh, so you've learned more about Tel'aran'rhiod than Nynaeve has, and you want to teach Nynaeve the same lesson that, like, freaking who knows how old Dreamwalkers taught you? Like, you are not in the position. Yeah.
And arguably, you haven't even learned because you're not listening.
Yeah. Although I do think that Egwene is, for the most part, listening during her teaching lessons. We get time and time again what a good student Egwene is.
She's listening during the lessons, but she's not following the rules she agreed to.
Yes.
Right. And that's the whole thing. Like, Egwene is certainly leveling up. That's certainly something that's happening. She's way better in Tel'aran'rhiod than she was. But the bottom line is, she's trying to scare Nynaeve into following the rules, but she's not following the rules. She still doesn't understand it like the wise ones do.
Spence, it's different because it's Egwene, and Egwene wants to do what Egwene wants to do, so
that
makes it okay. Yeah.
Well, and this is why Egwene and Nynaeve don't get along, and this is exactly why Nynaeve and Moiraine don't get along.
Exactly.
All of that. They're all so super powerful and like hard-headed and strong women that instead of like building each other up, they just want to knock each other down. Everybody wants to be the most powerful, the most smart, the most knowledgeable. I know more than you, so I'm better. I have more power than you because I know more than you. Like, it's a crazy power dynamic between all these crazy powerful women. And it's like, how about instead of fighting each other constantly, you don't do that and you just like band together to learn things. But it's like, oh, that's the perfect world where everyone communicates perfectly and the women don't fight all the time.
Well, right. And that kind of is a good point because it's also how Egwene could take the opportunity to teach Nynaeve and Elaine more about Tel'aran'rhiod, but she doesn't.
Well, she didn't.
She didn't and is still currently not.
I think currently this is her way of teaching.
This is a bullshit lesson.
Well, listen,
you could literally
it's the
talk
same
about,
way she was taught.
That doesn't make it a good way to teach
people.
She
doesn't know that. She doesn't know it's not a good way.
I have so much to say about this, but we got to get into the actual lesson. Yeah, let's keep going.
Let's get into the actual lesson. That's a good idea.
Okay, right. So then things escalate because Egwene, and to be fair, this is the way she was taught, sort of.
Sort
of.
This big asterisk.
Okay, big scary Beetlejuice monster.
Unhinging your jaw or something.
Yeah, versus this. So Egwene creates two huge, gross men who grab Nynaeve, and one of them rips her dress down the front, and the other grabs her chin and twists it to his face to either bite or kiss her. And Nynaeve is like flailing around and begs Egwene to stop, and at that point Egwene makes the creatures disappear and then scolds Nynaeve some more. And this is like definitely the point where I thought this wasn't Egwene.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because friends don't have creatures rape friends.
Right.
So this is the thing, because you do get that
sexual assault.
It's the imagery of the ripping of the dress down the front, like the aggression and everything. But let me just go ahead and remind y'all of what happened in Nynaeve's accepted test.
Yeah, she definitely has a history of sexual
She's got
assault.
something, and it's like, how much did the girls talk to each other about their
dress?
Right.
Know about that?
And how much is Egwene using against Nynaeve that's one of her like fears,
Triggers. triggers.
Yeah, like however you want to call it, Egwene is overstepping.
Oh my god, it is terrifying. It is so terrifying. Like, and I mean, this is a theme that I see in these books. Like, and again, I don't speak for all women. I can't speak for all women, but I can't imagine a world in which I think very few women would wish this on another woman, even as a lesson. Like, it is crazy. It is crazy.
Would you, Spence, would you have preferred if she did like the Beetlejuice monster?
Oh, 100%. Like this is upsetting
it's just
to
the
me.
whole like men thing, and this is clearly just like writing a scary scenario from Robert Jordan, in my opinion. Like, this isn't like, oh, sexual assault is awful and terrible and isn't on the same level as a Beetlejuice monster. I think that probably the idea behind it is scary scenario that you can't get yourself out of, right?
I disagree. Really? I'm disagreeing just because we already have the imagery of Nynaeve's accepted test. That was a literal thing that was brought up at the beginning. We know it's a thing for Nynaeve, and we know that Egwene and Nynaeve probably talked about it. Like, I feel like it's very intentional, and it's supposed to be horrible.
Well, I think it's supposed to be horrible and scary, and, you know, who knows what Egwene has gone through, but probably nothing like this. And she's probably, if she is doing this on purpose, which she probably is, to her, it's like, oh, here's a scary situation.
Yeah, Egwene might not realize the extent of what she's doing here.
Yeah,
for sure. And I think, and again, who knows? I mean, but like, I think the issue is, and again, we live in a world where men and women have very different experiences, and so I don't necessarily think that. I think Robert Jordan certainly meant to play on Nynaeve's fears that we already knew about in the past, and that was certainly the intention, because that seems very clear when it's brought up here. But I don't think he understands the visceral reaction that has on women, and it's so different than a Beetlejuice monster to women because it's so much more real. Like, a Beetlejuice monster is clearly a nightmare. This happens. This is real. This could happen. It doesn't feel like a nightmare. It's harder to escape from because you don't have this overwhelming, it's a monster, this isn't real, I can get out of this. It's like, oh my god, men are attacking me.
Nynaeve has that thought too. Like, I don't know if
have that thought. So
that she can't get out of that. So
it's so different for me, and I don't know if that's.
Are we slapping Egwene on the wrist for doing this one? Are we saying bad? Don't do that.
That it's awful. It's so bad.
Okay, we're all agreeing on that.
Bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Friends don't do this to friends.
Right. Okay. All right. So, aside from all of that, I do believe that Egwene thinks this is the way to teach the dangers of Tel'aran'rhiod.
Probably,
like, whatever the situation she's created, she wholeheartedly believes this is how experts taught me.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is how you teach someone the dangers, right? By putting them in a situation that's really scary and they can't get out of it, right? So they have a bit of a conversation. They move on from it. Nynaeve changes the subject and is like, okay, but like, why is the Amyrlin study like this? It looks terrible. And
yeah, we got all the description of Elida's study from their perspective, so we don't need to cover that too.
No, we don't need to hear about it.
Unless you want to talk about the paintings again.
The paintings or the flowers.
Yeah, that stuff.
Or the furniture. No, you're good?
I want to talk about the boxes when we get to the boxes.
Okay. So, Egwene and Nynaeve set about searching to see if they can find some clue as to what in the heck is going on around here.
And so to be clear, Egwene tells Nynaeve that she needs to search Lyanna's desk. Egwene is clearly dictating how they do this.
Right. Well, the power has shifted.
Yes.
And like later we get Nynaeve realizing this and stops it. Okay, but like we'll get...
She doesn't like that.
She doesn't like it. But like right now, there's such a power dynamic. There's such a power shift. Right now, there's such a power dynamic, power shift that Egwene is calling the shots. So they search around. Nynaeve is a little annoyed that Egwene is giving directions, but she's listening.
Yes.
So Nynaeve goes to search the Amyrlin's desk, and there are 3 boxes.
Yes.
So the first is a writing case with pens, ink, and sand.
Not very interesting.
Why sand, though? That's a weird one for me.
To dry ink.
Oh.
That's how you dry ink. You sprinkle the sand on afterwards to help it dry.
Like a glitter glue
Ooh.
situation.
I suppose. I don't have a lot of experience with glitter glue.
Yeah, you put the glitter on the wet glue. Anyway, that's just what I picture. I'm sure it's not like that, actually. But cool. Okay, moving on. The second is a big box that has 20 or more little carvings, ivory and jade,
Yeah.
of animals and people. And are these teeny little angrials?
Probably not. No.
Oh, that's what I thought. Is Elida just an old lady collecting weirdo figurines?
So it's.
Seems
I
like
only
it.
want to talk about this. So it seems unlikely that they're like Angriel or Terangriel because they're so like coveted by the tower that why would she have a case of like 20?
She's
That's
Yamerlin
crazy.
now. She can have whatever the fuck she wants.
Fair. You can have that opinion if you want to. I was just thinking of I don't know why I keep coming back to Aladdin, but in like the OG cartoon movie of the Aladdin, the Sultan, I think he used to play with tiny little creatures and would stack them up
Yes.
into a big tower, and I've always pictured them like that.
Oh, that's really funny.
That she can like stack and play and build with
Okay.
while she's thinking about
You know
stuff.
what I actually picture? You know, I said like old lady, but like we all had that friend growing up whose mom collected those little crystal animals.
Oh yeah, those two. Yep.
Everybody had that friend whose mom had those on a shelf somewhere and you couldn't go near it.
Yeah, don't
Right.
in the china cabinet.
That's like, it's just like the little things that like don't matter at all. It's like, why are you collecting those? Because I like them.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that what this is?
That's
It's
what
an
that.
I
That's
like
all
them?
I
I
had
think
for it.
so.
I didn't have any like, are they all like?
Oh yeah, I thought it was gonna be like, oh, you're gonna tell me about how she's hoarding Angriels for some reason.
Which is also that's probably funnier, but
She could
Anyway.
be doing that.
The third one has documents,
that's
and
the
it's
important
not
one.
an explodey box like
Yeah.
Swan had.
This is the good one.
So we get a summary of Nynaeve going through and reading the messages that she can before they disappear, because things don't like being moved around in Tel'aran'rhiod.
They're less permanent.
Yeah.
Less permanent things aren't as permanent. So like a letter in a box isn't as permanent as a wall or a door
Or like even a desk,
or
like
a desk.
furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like the vibe I got was that somebody was also moving them around in the real world.
Yeah, not that. Nope.
Oh, okay. Because I was picturing the Waygate door when.
Again, that's object permanence, right? It's
Okay.
yeah.
All right, fine. Fancy words at me. So then we get a summary of Nynaeve going through and reading like the messages she can. Some report about the Marshal General in Saldea and Queen Tenobia,
Yeah, not cooperating.
which I noted
Mhm.
because we know who that is
That's
now.
Fael's family.
Mhm.
And
The
we're
first one
also-
was funny too, though.
Okay, let me-
Jolene,
Oh,
you missed that one. You
yeah,
skipped
I
it.
don't care about that at all.
Jolene.
She's the one who failed to
Jolene.
find Swan and Liana, so she had to like write up her own punishment.
Oh, I don't care. Okay.
Okay.
So
I also don't have that. I missed that, turns out.
No. Oh my
yeah,
God.
it doesn't.
Okay.
It really matters not. So except that she did say approved.
Yeah, it was a good enough
It
punishment.
was approved. I like that we get this note about Queen Tenobia, which is Fael's cousin.
Yes.
But let me tell you, we're 300 pages into this book without a single note about where Perrin and Fael are, except for in a minute when we get into Egwene's dreams.
Okay. So what are you saying?
I mean, I just find it interesting because like, I
Okay.
feel like last book we got lots and lots and lots, especially towards the end.
Sure.
Tons of Two Rivers, Perrin, and Fael content, and here we are, nothing. Not a peep about
Nothing
what's
yet.
going
Okay,
on over
okay.
there. Because we have almost everybody else in the world and what they're up to. Almost everybody
Yeah.
that we care about. Oh, wait, it's everyone we care about. Get
Bail
it?
Domin,
Get
excuse
it?
me, where's
Get
he
it?
at?
Get it? Because no one cares about where Perrin is? Just joking. I know people care.
Oh man.
Okay. While Nynaeve is going through these letters, do you want to talk about anything else that's written in the letters?
No, there's more of that White Cloak stuff.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
All right. So Nynaeve is going through these letters and she hears Egwene go, "Oh, light, no!" And she runs out and Egwene is standing there and she says, "Nynaeve, Elida is the Amerlin seat."
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Dun dun dun.
Mic drop. Yeah,
Right?
that's
'Cause
the big
she
one.
saw a document signed by Elida as the Amerlin, and they have a conversation. Speculations are flying. What the heck happened to Swan? What is going on? Are you sure? Oh, yes, I'm sure. Look at this. Oh my god, this is terrible.
Yeah, this is a whole bunch of stuff that's happening. I'm glad they piece it together. Like, they do figure it out this chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm a little bit upset that my theory about Nynaeve and Elaine running in to Swan and Lyanna and Min in Altara to find out about the situation
Okay.
is not going to happen.
Because that can still happen.
Oh, I'm sure that can still happen.
Yeah.
But I wanted that to be the reveal.
What are you doing? But they wouldn't recognize
No, but
them,
they'd
and then
recognize
it's like,
Min, and it
yeah.
was like, it would come out. That's what I wanted. An explosive, like, scene where they meet each other and find shit out. Although, to be fair, they don't know
that can
what
still
happened.
happen, though.
Yeah.
Swan and Lyanna don't look the same, so, like, that could technically still kind of sort of happen.
And they still don't know what happened to Swan.
That's true.
So, okay, but now Egwene goes into what she saw on the document here. So it says, all loyal sisters are required to report the presence of a woman named Moraine Damodred.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
She is to be detained, if possible, by whatever means necessary, and returned to the White Tower for trial on charge of treason.
Yeah, so the question is, how
shit.
much does Elida know about Moraine? And I mean, probably lots, because the whole Swan torture thing.
Right. Yeah. And, like, Elida was the one who was kind of onto them being close when they were novice and missed it when, So she was already on to Swan before the interrogation, so obviously that was the point of the interrogation when she did do the Swan interrogation.
Oh, I'm sure. I was, like, hopeful. I was like, oh, maybe she was able to keep Moraine's name out of it. No.
Definitely not.
This is, like, the hundo confirmation.
Yeah.
This is it.
And it's good that Nynaeve and Egwene are able to piece together that, like, Elida is not going to support Rand like Swan would. But I mean, we don't know how much Swan was literally going to support. Like, we know the idea that Moraine had, but we don't know the ins and outs of those.
Right. And Nynaeve is able to put together that the phrase loyal sisters fits with the Rhonda McGuire message.
Yes.
That the Ajas have split over Elida as Amberlin, and Nynaeve brings up that she happened across a document back in the study, and the report is there is a gathering of blues in that document.
Yeah, but she didn't know where, and that's the major issue. That was the one she was looking at.
Yeah.
Like, when Egwene was like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, and she bets that the blues don't support Elida, but now they can't find that piece of paper. It's gone. And that's why I was thinking, like, oh, people are, like, someone's looking through this stuff in the real world. Okay. Like, why can't she find it?
It's less of, it's not as, we've gotten before about Tel'aran'rhiod that if it's not as permanent of a thing, it's not going to stick around the same way.
Yeah, that's fine. But now it's gone, and she can't remember where.
Right.
So Nynaeve finally figures out what is happening right now with the power shift and the dynamic, and it's the balance of power between her and Egwene has shifted, and it's shifting more and more and more, with Egwene complimenting Nynaeve on what a wonderful job she's done.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Egwene, shove it. So now Nynaeve is like, my morals are way out of whack because I deliberately lied to Egwene. And she feels the need to come clean about the fork root situation.
Yeah, and you know what this is? This is like
Giotto.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's kind of good. I like it.
Her moral code is out of whack. She's got to correct it.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah. And so Egwene seems to be pretty condescending.
Not very Giotto.
In Nynaeve's perspective, and is like, I know you lied. I never heard you once talk about fork root. And it's like, oh, you've heard her talk about every herb that ever exists? Really, Egwene? Okay.
Yeah.
But Egwene's like, I expected that you were lying. I expected that you actually got drugged anyway. Because, you know, to be fair, she traveled with Elaine and Nynaeve, and Elaine and Nynaeve and Egwene are all people who
got captured multiple times.
Right,
so,
right. It's totally fair that she got drugged by some random lady and needed to be rescued by Tom and Julian. But Egwene is like, you're also lying to yourself as well because you're so stubborn and you're so bad at like lying to everybody else. And Nynaeve is like, no, I'm not. I'm not stubborn. And Egwene's like, oh yeah, well, I remember you making me drink something when I lied.
So again, making her drink the spooky drink.
The terrible
Right.
concoction, whatever.
To me-
Well, it's just like the dream world, like forcing the drink in the beverage. I don't like it.
Well, and to me, it's kind of like strike 2 against Egwene. Like, she did the not so great dream. She doesn't, like, and like, Egwene's playing this whole, like, I have the moral high ground. You lied. But Egwene, you're lying right now. You shouldn't be here. This is against the rules. Do you have the moral high ground? I don't believe you do. Not for a second.
No, but she's like, oh, I remember. I'm going to treat you like a child who lied. Drink this. And then she, right when Nynaeve probably would drink it, she's like, okay, you don't have to drink it. But remember, I can force you to. It's like,
but again, that's again a part of the issue. Is like, just because you can physically force someone to do something doesn't give you the authority to use that as a punishment. Like, this is terrible.
Yeah, and so now that that's over, we're going to move on.
Oh,
because
man.
Egwene says now they have to decide who to tell about the tower business.
That's actually a good question.
Obviously, they have to tell Moraine. She's wanted for treason.
Yeah.
And they should probably definitely tell Rand because now Elida is in power and, like, wants him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably don't tell the Aiel, though, because they're very, like, particular about everything.
They got a weird relationship with Aes Sedai as it is. Yeah. So like, we don't really understand it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Egwene brings up that they also have to find this gathering of Blue Sisters because if they want to, like, oppose Elida, because Elida opposes Rand, then maybe these Blues gathering will support Rand.
Yeah, and that's actually good logic.
So, unfortunately, Nynaeve can't remember anything from the note.
Yeah, so we have one really important piece of information here. This is when Egwene tries to slip in the whole, hey, Nynaeve, I need you to not tell anybody about this stuff because it's probably going to be best if you don't mention this visit to the tower at all, so that way maybe you can keep a secret if you just don't talk about any of this trip.
Yeah.
But Egwene's just covering her own butt.
Yeah, I know, it's so annoying.
She doesn't want this brought up to the wise ones because then she's going to get kicked out of Dream School.
Yeah, boom, strike 3.
She doesn't want to get kicked out of Dream School. She likes it, but she just wants to break the rules a little bit.
Just whenever it suits her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She's the bad girl. She's doing it in pursuit of learning.
No, and I get that, but it's like, still terrible.
It's bad.
It's not okay, and it's especially not okay when you're, like, hanging it over Nynaeve. The whole thing is problematic.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
All right, but let's move on because
move on from this mess.
Yeah, so Nynaeve steps out of Tel'aran'rhiod back to Sienda, and then we get a perspective change to Egwene. She wakes up from her Tel'aran'rhiod adventure. She does a quick scan of the room to check for wise ones, and that's pretty much her biggest fear right now.
Yeah, is getting kicked out of school.
Yeah, and so it sounds like the reason Egwene is being like such a dick to Nynaeve was to prevent her from figuring out that she's not supposed to be there in the first place. We already know that.
Yeah.
And she thinks about how speaking calmly just produced amazing results.
Shocking.
She didn't raise her voice once, and Nynaeve even did what she said.
Yeah.
And come to think of it, I don't think I've ever heard Moraine raise her voice. Interesting how that works.
Learning. And this all goes back to the whole, like, Emmons Field needs a public education, like a formal schooling process. It's just,
That's what it comes down to.
Yep, there you go.
Screaming at people, not effective.
It's really not. So, Egwene... if you're the louder one, though.
What if I yell louder than everybody else, though?
Then
what about
win.
that?
Then you make people cry, and then your relationship is terrible.
That's how I know I've really won, then.
Yeah.
If I can make you cry.
Oh, no. Okay, so Egwene gets ready to see Moraine. And so she's going to hurry through the camp.
Yes.
And this whole scene confused the shit out of me.
Why?
I didn't understand.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I didn't understand when she was like peering into Rand's tent. I thought she was like going into Rand's tent.
Like Moraine was in Rand's tent.
Like Moraine was in Rand's tent. or that Egwene was gonna go talk to Rand before she talked to Moraine.
Okay.
Like, I really didn't know what was happening here.
No, just
and then
checking
all of a
in,
sudden,
just
like,
peeking.
Avienda's there outside the tent, and then they're making fun of Rand for being like a man baby.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know. It was all just like, I had to read it several times.
We're getting to Maureen's tent first, but we're just passing by Rand's and peeking in to see what's going on and continuing on our journey.
Okay, so it turns out Rand is just talking to
Natil.
Asmodean, yeah.
Asmo,
yeah.
And also like throwing books around, and Egwene's like, hey, don't throw books. That's about it.
Yeah, there's not a ton. He's reading Prophecy of the Dragon.
Yeah.
He's only talking to Asmodean by himself.
Stop that.
Why?
It's that whole like self-fulfilling prophecy thing.
Yeah, it is problematic.
Pretty well so far.
It's like worked only medium so far.
I don't know. He's the Lord of Tyr, and he has the Aiel.
Some of the Aiel.
Well, 6 out of 10.
And I don't think Rand is being super discreet because, like, Avienda, who's there all the time, is, like, noting to Egwene that, like, Rand always wants to talk to Natil alone. Weird. Like,
yeah. And it's like, you're supposed to be the spy.
Right. It's all... He's not doing a great job about, like, his secret Forsaken. But that's neither here nor there.
Am I the only one who wants to know about the secret joke?
Which secret joke?
Well, Rand's reading the book, and then he, like, tosses it and says,
like, here,
a fine
read
joke.
It.
Read page 287 and page 400 and tell me if you don't agree. I want to know, like, don't you want to...
You know what I pictured?
Curiosity?
You know what I actually pictured? You know, in, like, high school, when you have a textbook and somebody wrote in, go to page 482 or whatever it is, and then you go to it and they like drew a dick.
Yeah, hilarious.
And it's like, or it's like, oh, you just like fall, and it's like, go to page 273, and then it's like, oh, this thing you have to go back for whatever, and at the end it's just a pair of boobs or a dick or something drawn.
Yeah, it's like a biology book, and it's like, turn to this page.
Classic.
That's like funny. Literally what I pictured. Fine joke.
And it might be. It literally might be something like
It's not that, Brett.
It might be, but you don't know that it's not yet.
It's not. Okay, so Egwene finally gets to Moraine's tent. She can sense Moraine channeling a little bit in there, and Lan is, quote, asleep close by.
Asleep but not asleep.
Yeah.
Weird.
And then Moraine is there with her small blue stone, like, lit up.
Yeah, this is big.
And so Egwene asks to enter, and Moraine says yes. And Egwene asks Moraine if she's spying on Rand.
Yes.
And so I think that this is such a big deal that Egwene knows that Moraine can do this. I think that that's a big deal.
Okay, so remember way back when the Wise Ones and Moraine and Egwene were all huddled together looking at something in her hands, and Rand saw that and was like, I wonder what they're all doing. It's probable that Moraine was like showing the Wise Ones how to spy on Rand using her little secret trick, because she references here about the fact that the Wise Ones are not asking anymore because she basically said, I don't think we should spy on him anymore. So she hasn't like gotten the Wise Ones involved in that anymore. So previously they were all doing that and spying on Rand, and now they're not doing it anymore.
Because they have Avienda.
Go back and reread the scene.
They used to have his dreams.
And they don't have that. And that's why Moraine kind of like twisted the words a little bit to make it so it's like, oh, we shouldn't do this anymore. And she was just meaning we shouldn't do it, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I'll keep doing it. It's fine.
So yeah, go back, reread the scene where they're like all huddled together, staring at something glittery in the sunlight or whatever. And Rand's thinking, what is that?
Interesting. Okay. So I just find that so interesting that Moraine would even offer that sort of thing to them at all. Like, or can she, I don't know, can she amplify what she can hear? Because I just pictured that as like a in her head situation.
We don't know.
Like, it's not a speaker.
Well, we don't know. We don't know the specifics of it. But it's like she could be like, this is what I'm doing, so.
Okay, so getting into what actually happens here.
Right.
Egwene is like, hey, are you spying on Rand? Because you said you wouldn't do that anymore. And Moraine is like, actually, what I said was, since the Wise Ones could watch his dreams, we should allow him some privacy. And since they haven't asked since he shut them out, she hasn't offered.
Yeah, so that's like a little bit of a whole, she's still going to do it. She's just not going to offer to give that information to the wise ones because now the wise ones and the Aes Sedai don't have the same objectives.
Well, they never really did. I think that Moiraine always hoped that maybe she'd be able to manipulate them into...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was still like a hint of
and
maybe
now
I
there's
can...
100% for sure she can't manipulate them. So she's like, fuck them.
So here's the question. She's been eavesdropping on Rand. There's been some speculation about how much she knows about Asmodean. But, like, she's been listening to Rand's conversations. What does she know?
Oh, 100% she knows. I've like even without this, like, this clarifies for me. For sure she knows about Asmodean.
Yeah, so it's like, we know that Rand and Asmodean are having, like, super private conversations. And maybe Rand isn't smart enough to know how to, like, cut off
shield or
the
like
sound,
to
like block anybody from hearing stuff. And Asmodean's not gonna like necessarily offer that information up because he's
I don't
not
think
forthcoming.
Asmodean is offering anything that Rand doesn't ask or
fair enough
because he doesn't really want to be helping him.
So there's a good chance that Moiraine like knows that like Asmodean is who he is.
Oh, and I've said that from like the get-go.
And
even
Maureen's just like,
this.
yep, that's how he's gonna do it.
Moiraine is no dummy. I think that she understands. I don't know if she knows like 100% that this is Asmodean, but I think she knows that this is some sort of Forsaken who's teaching Rand how to channel. And I think she's okay with it.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because somehow, from her perspective, Rand has like controlled him.
So here's a question. Could this have something to do with Moraine's attitude shift in how to deal with Rand as well? Like, we know that it's a bit of, like, we get the hint at the end where it's like, oh, it's because it's like Saidar.
No, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because she was like in there screaming at him, basically losing her attitude, and Asmodean was like sitting there playing the harp. Like, this didn't start because she was like speculative about Rand having a teacher now. This started because she realized she was gonna get more flies with honey.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right, fair. Yeah.
In my opinion. How many times do I have to say that?
Yeah. Okay. We know everything's in your opinion.
Everything's in my opinion that I say on this podcast. Okay, so then we get some big news because Egwene tells Moiraine, like, straight up, that Elaida is Amyrlin. And she doesn't know how or what happened to Swan, but she knows that there's like an arrest warrant out for Moiraine.
Yeah. And then we get some like Egwene visions. This is awesome.
Well, Moiraine is like, how do you know? Is it dream walking or dreaming? And when I read this, I thought to myself, is there a difference? Does Moiraine think there's a difference?
There is a difference. Dream walking is going into Talaran Riyadh. Dreaming is what Egwene does about seeing visions.
Okay.
A dreamer sees visions. A dream walker is able to walk the dream. There's a distinct difference.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. You can be both. You can also just be one.
Okay. And Egwene tries to figure out, oh, well, how am I going to tell Moiraine all this information without sort of telling her that I've done all this stuff that I'm not allowed to do?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, this is my way out.
Yeah.
I'm a dreamer. Yes.
That's what it was.
I'm a dreamer. And I think that totally she is a dreamer. But she has no fucking idea what she's doing and no one can help her or teach her.
Yeah, she is a dreamer. Like, we can talk about she is a dreamer because she has dreams.
I thought that they were going to sort of coexist because we know that when Perrin is in Teleran Riyadh, in his, like, quote, wolf dream, has these windows in the sky of visions that are exactly the same as what Egwene has.
Yes.
So I was under the impression that there was 100% going to be this crossover and she was going to be able to learn her dreamer talent through the Dreamwalkers. But it doesn't really seem like that.
So they sometimes go hand in hand, but they're not definitively hand in hand.
Okay, well, do you want to get some Egwene visions that
I got them all here. So
you have them? I have them too.
Awesome.
I probably have them more succinctly than
I have them more accurately, though.
What?
You being succinct means not accurate.
No.
Okay, we got I'll do the first one.
Okay.
Rand sitting down in a chair, and she knew that the chair's owner would be murderously angry at having her chair taken, and she knows that it is a woman who owns the chair.
Okay, my no, what's the word?
Succinct.
Succinct version is Rand sitting on some woman's chair who would be super angry that he's sitting there.
Yeah, see, less accurate.
What? It's
murderously angry.
Murderously
That
angry.
she had her chair taken. So he's taken somebody's chair that's a woman.
Do you want to know what I think this is?
I do?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't have...
Okay, we don't
I was trying to come up with something on the spot.
We don't have to figure it out yet.
Obviously, where's Grandal right now? We know she's somewhere doing something.
Last time she was seen was somewhere in the west.
Yeah, but like, that doesn't even mean anything.
Yeah, that was like basically what we got at that one time.
Well, it makes sense to me because Rand is going and like taking over places. He wants the Sun Throne.
Right.
And he wants to control whoever sits there. He knows who he wants to put there.
Yeah, so that seems like a maybe, but so you're thinking like chair as in like throne?
Throne.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a woman's throne.
Like a seat of a nation.
Okay, so there's like a bunch of nations. So it could be a nation that he's like...
Could be. He's headed to Chiron right now, but this might also be like a vision for 10 books from now. So,
that's true.
Anyway,
it could be.
Next.
Perrin. Lounging with Fael on his lap. Kissing
with banners behind him.
She's playing with his shortcut beard.
You're
going to just skip the shortcut beard?
Yep.
And then we've got the man in a bright yellow coat with a sword strapped to his back, and she knows it's a tinker.
Tinker with a sword.
Yep.
At his side.
What does the tinker and the flags mean? Oh my god.
Well, we know that.
It's literally Perrin right now.
It's literally, that's what he's just doing.
That's what Perrin's doing right now.
Oh, you want to know what Perrin's doing? It's nothing. So the Tinker's moving closer to Perrin though, and then Doom is shooting through everything.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so I knew Aram was bad news. I still don't trust that guy.
You don't like it? I can't believe you don't like Aram still.
Really?
I'm
surprised. Vision like this?
He's the tinker that I respect for picking up a sword. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, but then he moves every step he takes closer to Perrin. Doom shoots through everything. You tell me that's not a terrible news, Vision?
It's pretty terrible.
I've seen worse, like the next one. Matt throwing dice with blood streaming down his face. His hat is pulled low so you can't see his wound.
Yeah, that's not great.
Okay.
I feel like that's not the first time we got some kind of vision of like Matt's
gonna get injured.
Yeah. It's gonna be maimed.
Welcome to Matt's life here.
Yeah. Okay, next.
And then that goes hand in hand with Tom Maryland putting his hand into a fire to draw out the small blue stone that now dangled on Moraine's forehead.
Yes, Tom pulling Moraine's blue jubal out of a fire.
Perfect.
Yes, so what's your interpretation there? Jubal, yeah.
I don't know. I actually thought if this is like the past and Tom like got this from somewhere and like gave it to Moraine.
Oh my god, adding stacks on stacks to the history.
Because I don't know what this dreamer stuff is.
Yeah, we really don't. And it literally could be anything like past, present, future.
Yeah. And then we get a dream of a big old crazy storm.
Yeah.
Right.
Weather's gonna be bad.
Lightning everywhere.
Yeah, identical forked lightning bolts.
Ooh. Okay. Don't know.
It's a lot of
the
it's
last
a lot of stuff.
Battle, probably.
Probably. That makes sense.
All right.
Yeah.
So Egwene also tells Moraine that she saw an arrest warrant for her signed by Elida, and Moraine is like, the wheel weaves, bitch.
Whatever.
I'm glad she's back on the wheel weaves bus.
Me too. So Egwene asks if that's all she has to say. Wasn't Swan your very bestest friend?
Yeah, we get story time.
I
like
also
it.
thought Moraine would care a little more. Remember when I was like, oh my god, Moraine has to find out about this because she's going to flip out and head to the tower, like figure something out right away. She has to find out.
So, I mean, Moraine's back on the wheel weaves bus, though. Like, it's at the beginning where it's like,
part of the pattern.
Like, we knew there was a price.
You can come. Sure, you can come.
Yeah.
Fuck it. That guy and his harp can come. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is definitely back.
And she knew there was a risk when they started this, and this is just what happens.
Yeah, I actually really like the kind of synopsis of the story about her and Swan. She's like, well, that was like 20 some odd years ago that we started this.
21 years ago in a couple of months.
Yeah, and that makes
It's a
sense.
very specific timeline, which means that Rand is almost 21 years old.
Yeah, that makes sense because we knew how old he was.
No, I just
Because
like
the
the
Aiel War was
confirmation
20 years
again.
ago, and we know he was
I
born on
know,
Dragonbound.
but that's all about. So this is exactly.
Yes.
Okay, so it's almost...
Definite.
So you asked this at the very beginning when we started podcasting about birthdays, and do we celebrate birthdays?
No.
Doesn't seem like we...
Because it's already been over a year, and
Yeah.
Ron did not celebrate his 20th birthday.
No birthday celebrations. Okay.
But maybe his 21st.
Okay, you know what? Want to know what my favorite part about
He's
this
legal!
is?
Yeah. He's
start
already
drinking.
been like smoking all that Two Rivers tobacco.
I'm pretty sure if you grow it, you can smoke
He's
it. There's
already
different
been
rules.
drinking all that wine and usaki.
Usaki.
Okay. Cool.
Usquai. Okay.
Oh, usquai.
Usquai.
What did I say?
Usaki.
Usaki.
It's just sake.
I don't know, guys. Okay.
You're thinking sake bombs.
Okay.
Anyways, okay. There's a saying in Kyrian, take what you want and pay for it. And Swan and her knew what they were getting into, and they both knew they would pay eventually. And
Right.
in Maureen's eyes, this is just Swan paying the price that they knew they would have to pay at some point.
All right. I also think that this is a little bit Moraine not wanting to show Egwene all of her cards.
Agreed. Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
she is internally freaking out. I think that this is a huge fucking problem. And
We're not going to share that
we're
with
not
Egwene
going
right
to share
now.
that with Egwene
Yeah.
right now.
Okay. Yeah,
Fair
very
enough.
much so. Like, we don't need to
Yeah.
express
So-
all our feelings.
Definitely not. But Egwene is freaking out a little bit over what all this might mean. And whatever has happened, Moraine certainly is not happy that the tower has split apart. It's an important figure that should be united. And that's what, like, Elida keeps saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Moraine almost wishes that every sister had just sworn to Elida so that the tower could still be whole.
Yeah, and that's an important point, that Moraine actually sees, like, some justification for the tower being whole still.
yeah.
Like, they need to be
yeah,
united.
Aes Sedai are not viewed well in the
The
what's it
world.
called? Radland?
Yeah, the world, yeah. The official name is Randland, so...
Yeah, the Westlands?
We
The
don't-
wetlands.
Yeah, the wetlands to the
Wetlands,
Aiel,
yeah.
but there is no official name other than that, real.
Right.
Really
okay, so Egwene asks, like, what are we going to do about Rand? And Moraine seems to feel that now that she doesn't need to try to turn Rand from what he wants, she's like, I guess we'll just see how this happens.
This
how
is
goes.
big. This is huge, though. Like, literally, in this instance, Moraine has scrapped her plans. Everything
and
she was
that's what
fighting
I've been
for.
telling her. This is what I've been saying from the beginning about every leader who's going to be successful, about anyone who's going to be successful. They need to be flexible, because if you're going to be rigid, you're going to break, and that's what happened with Swan,
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Moraine's got to roll with the punches here.
which is great news for me because I love Moraine.
Yeah. So that's good. So now it sounds like she's just going to go along with the plan for now, see what happens.
And Egwene is like, I'll leave it to you to tell Rand then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it. It's good.
I think that if Egwene wants to win some favor and like trust with Rand, if she wants to start getting back on like Rand's good bus and start like getting like some information from him again, I think that she should tell him.
Okay.
Interesting.
I get that she would rather win favor with Moraine than Rand right now, so I get why she's not going to, but I think that she should for funsies.
It doesn't sound like she's going to, though.
No, she's not, but she should.
But she should. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I think another interesting point that Egwene makes here is she's talking about how when Moraine is talking about how the tower, she almost wishes the tower was whole, even if it's behind a red Aja. Egwene talks to Moraine about how concerned she would be by a tower led by Red and how they would make Rand a prisoner before the last battle. And Moraine reminds Egwene that it doesn't take a whole tower to control Rand. All she needs is 13.
Yes, that is a good point.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah, and even fewer to hold the
Right, the shield or
yeah.
whatever.
So it's like, oh, you need 13 to hold him and control him, but even fewer to hold that tie. So
Yikes. Okay.
Scary stuff.
yeah, I'm medium scared.
And I mean, if Elida has a box full of Angreal, she can do it all herself, probably.
She's stacking them. She's controlling them. Right.
Okay, I get it. It's not. It could have been though. Like Ivory is like the.
It still might
like,
be.
that
You
was
still
the-
don't know that it's not.
That's true. I don't think it's important. Anyway, so Egwene has one more piece of news for Moraine, and it's that Nynaeve has seen Forsaken in Tel'aran'rhiod, and she's mentioned every last one of them still alive, except for Asmodean and Moghedien, and she thinks the others are plotting something, maybe together, and Moraine says, well, Lanfear with luck. We don't have to worry about Lanfear killing Rand.
Yeah, and it's like
She just wants to love him and take over the world with
yeah, I
him.
mean it's like probably accurate because she doesn't want to kill Rand. Like we got some time still.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think that it's interesting that Nynaeve specifically says she hasn't seen Asmodean, and that's what Egwene relays.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think that is all Moraine needs to connect some dots
Boom.
Fair enough.
over in that
Yeah.
other tent.
She's like, oh, okay.
okay, I know
get
who
it.
that is then. I know
Yeah.
that guy. That's Asmo. We get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So Egwene wants to know what they're going to do to protect Rand from the Forsaken. And Moraine is like, we can't hold his hand forever.
He's got this. He's doing pretty good so far. Like
Actually, he's doing
He-
okay.
he's
he's
not
doing-
doing terrible.
Like medium. He's doing medium.
He's rolling with the punches. He's as flexible as a guy as there's ever been.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a conversation for another time. Because now Moraine says it's time for bed, and before Egwene leaves, she asks Moraine why she started doing everything Rand tells her to. Nobody thinks it's right, and Moraine answers, because I remembered how to control Saidar.
Yep.
I
there
love
it is.
that. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And I went, yes, surrender to it to control it.
Yes. So you guide the river. And it's funny
this is
how
exactly
different
how you manipulate people too, if you want to know.
but it's also really funny how it's so different between men and women, how you control the power. Like there's that distinction too, that it's not that way for Saidin. So just it's the whole comes back to the whole women and men react to things differently, and how they get what they want is very different. Like it's not a perfect analogy, but it's not nothing.
It's not nothing. Just a giggle. Okay.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think that maybe Rand should try. Because, initially, Egwene was like, oh my god, surrender to it? That's insane. I could never. It's so powerful. I'll be destroyed. Like, that was her first thought about it, too.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe Rand just needs to fucking try.
Well,
Maybe.
the difference
Maybe that's what Asmodean taught him.
the difference is that with Nynaeve, she couldn't control Saidar at all until she did it, but Rand is fighting with it and controlling it. Like that's the
Right.
difference, is that it's
maybe
not
he's not fighting with it so much anymore because Asmodean taught him to surrender to it. Like, but maybe it's like different terminology.
okay.
No, you
Maybe.
don't believe
Okay.
it?
Well, we'll see what happens. That's as good as and as bad as some of your other predictions.
All
So,
right, fine. So now, just as this ends, Egwene thinks about how Moraine talked to her like an equal for their entire conversation. How amazing.
maybe she's becoming close to choosing her Aja.
And it's like, no.
No, you're still a ways off from being Aes Sedai.
And just because she didn't talk to you like a condescending asshole, obviously Moraine has shifted her.
You mean the way that Egwene just talked to
approach-
Nynaeve?
Oh yeah, like
Right.
that.
Right.
Be nicer to Nynaeve. Duh. It's rude.
Duh. Yeah, she's like, there's something to this.
Right.
There's something to this, not screaming at everyone and
Yeah.
getting in petty, malicious arguments about nothing.
Almost
Ah.
forcing them to drink unruly tea and putting them in the rape dreams.
Right.
Terrible.
So now, Spencer, at the beginning of this, you were like, yay, women. Yay, Egwene, leveling up. Now that we've had this full conversation about it, are you still
as excited.
as excited? Because now we've got to some deep stuff, and it doesn't seem like you're on board with Egwene's teaching principles.
I'm glad you were here for these chapters, though, because these are tough ones to tackle.
I mean, they're hard, and I think they're hard. I think I love the women, and I certainly don't agree with a lot of the things Egwene has done. But I think, unfortunately, sometimes we need to do bad things to learn about ourselves and about others.
But she doesn't recognize that she's done anything bad or wrong. She thinks everything she did was great. She got all the things accomplished that she wanted to get accomplished, and it worked.
Yeah, it's problematic, and I think it's this problematic trope of like women being after power and you know, putting each other down. I think there's some problematic themes in this chapter. But you know what? I'm on board for the women. I'm here for them. I'm going to support them. Because I don't want to be the women that they are being to each other. I'm just going to keep supporting Nynaeve and Egwene and building them up. That's what I'm here for.
Okay, so we're here to support them on their journey of growth and understanding that they are still quite young out in this world and they need to learn a lot.
You know, I mean, I think that's actually a good point. Just saying that the things that they're doing aren't objectively good, and we shouldn't be like that in real life. Like, that's actually a good message to take out of a book. Like, don't be like this.
Right.
Be better. Help your friends.
Be better, yeah.
Help your friends. Don't tear them down and scare them with sexual assault dreams.
Right. Exactly. That's the lesson.
Don't do that.
We have a whole list of things not to do over here.
On the record.
Right.
Don't do it.
And before we wrap things up here, I actually want to talk just like for a very, very quick second. We're going to talk about this for the next couple of episodes.
Right.
Because our friend Andy Laff, who is an incredible, amazing artist, who actually watercolor painted our Wheel of Time map that we own, just came out with a Tarvalin specific watercolor map. And we just got it, actually. I can't wait. It's in the mail. It's going to match our other one for our wall.
Yeah, it looks like, I saw the pictures. It looks awesome. I can't wait to have it on our wall.
Definitely go check that out. And for our listeners, Andy Laff has given you guys a promo code to get 15% off her Wheel of Time map or the Tarvalin map. Go check it out. It's Andy, ANDIE, Laff, LAF designs.com. Go check out her Wheel of Time map. Go check out her Tarvalin map. I know she's working on a Two Rivers map. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that, but I'm so excited. I'm going to anyway.
Sounds like you just did.
Yeah, you should go check out her stuff. Use the promo code Wheel Weaves Podcast for 15% off. We're not getting anything from this. We just absolutely love her and her work. So go check it out. Go buy things from her because she's fantastic.
Awesome.
Support local businesses. We're here for it. And we also want to super thank Spencer for spending this entire evening with us. That was lots of fun tackling these kind of tough chapters. Thanks.
Hours and hours and hours.
Quite literally. But that's okay. We're having lots of fun and this was great.
Well, guys, it was so wonderful to be here.
I'm excited to see which chapters you pick next. So we'll see.
Knows?
We'll see.
Yeah, keep the mystery alive.
With that being said, before you travel around Teleran Riyadh without any formal training and thinking you're better than everyone at everything, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Part of the pattern now.
That's all for now, but until next time, thank you so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Giannis, and Megan Smiley, with music by Audionautics.com. If you're interested in supporting us and helping us to make really great content, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. And you'll also get access to some really great bonus content like early access to our regular episodes, bonus episodes, unedited video episodes, access to our live recordings, monthly Q&As, and more like stickers and keychains. Don't forget to find us on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We'd also love for you to join the conversation over at our Discord, and you can find the link to that in our bios on those social medias. We'd love for you to tell a friend about us. Referrals really are the best compliment. We'd love for you to leave a review and subscribe. That really does make a huge difference. Thanks so much again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.